James Mathieu, and I'm running for a state representative, District 36 here in Western Pasco. I'm the only candidate that lives in this district. I live 3 blocks off of US 19. I know the prostitutes, the vagrants that walk by my door. I've been a city attorney. I've been a city attorney here in Pasco County. I've written legislation. I might get some booze on this, but I'm the one that wrote the first major piece of legislation for your red light cameras in the state of Florida. It'll work.
Work.
Speaker of the House owns a business interest in a company that bills citizens. And I'm going up there to fight that because you're never going to change this insurance problem here until the Speaker of the House stands down and the other people in the legislature from making money off of citizens. That's got to stop. They gave me a new one.
Okay. Mr. Mathieu, last year you ran against Mike Fasano saying he was a populist, not a Republican. But now it seems you want to emulate him and continue his legacy. Why is it you think you should be the Republican Party's standard bearer to fill Mike Fasano's shoes in the State House of Representatives?
Yes, I ran last year with one of my positions that Mr. Fasano was a populist. Fasano's here, and I say this in all due respect. Certain of the issues were consumer issues, okay? Such as whether ball games should be broadcast when there's not enough people watching it. I don't think the government needs to get into the NFL. Those are populist positions. I do support what Mike Fasano did in bucking the leadership here. Okay? My opponent here, due to my right, is being put forth by the Speaker of the House and the next 3 speakers, as you're aware. Never in the history of Florida politics has that come forward. They do not want me there doing what Mr. Fasano did. I respect Mr. Fasano's passion. I don't always agree with him on all the politics, but in that sense, I do. That answers your question, Mr. Public.
And once upon a time, it seemed like the Republican leadership of the legislature was concerned about candidates who were running for seats that were not where they lived. Why do you think that living in the district should be an important, if not crucial, issue to the voters of District 36?
Repetition apparently is working. Since I can't afford 20 campaigns pieces, that's why I said it 4 times. Why do I think it's important? I'll tell you why I think it's important, Mr. Jackson. It's important because if you don't have someone living there that has an interest in the community and come from the outside, they're just running because they want a political position. Taken to the nth degree. Some rich guy's son out in Iowa might say, hey, look, I'd like to spend 60 days over in Florida. Dad, give me $100,000. I'll tap into this, see, you know, the pack out there and send out the 6 pieces, because that's what gets you elected, you know. And you could buy that seat. I think we may or may not see that in this election. Do I think it's important? You're darn right, I think you need to have a vested interest there. I live in the middle of it. I love Pasco County. I love where I live, and I'm proud of it. And I think it's important. Every one of our municipalities has a 365-day rule, which has been upheld by the Florida Supreme Court. It means that you must live in your district 365 days before you can file for the office. That's the way it should be. Otherwise, you're going to have office shopping. That's got to stop. You know, it's just got to stop. Who lives where? We've turned in, I mean, I could go on about 5 hours, the elected officials here that are making a living at this from 6 different pockets, Mr. Jackson. So I think it's very important. I know the prostitutes, the vagrants that walk by my door. I support the stand your ground law. I support the concept of it. My concern is this. Presently, when the law was first passed, they did not set forth in the law, because rest assured the legislators didn't understand it, didn't read it, it was all put forth by talking points. They did not set forth in the law its application. Would that affirmative defense be heard in a pretrial hearing? Would it be heard before a jury, a judge? That's missing in the law. And what's going to happen if we don't tweak it and make it better? The Florida Supreme Court will pass both procedural and substantive rules, which the Florida Supreme Court can pass many substantive rules, and whittle away at that. Keep in mind, what they'll do is they'll put it before a judge. Think what's going to happen in Miami where they elect the judges. We need to strengthen that law by getting more specific, and that's the problem with our legislatures. I don't think anybody's reading this stuff, and I don't think anybody's doing the right thing. So I support it, and every time I say that, it's politically not real good because they, Jim, don't touch that law. I want to make it better.
Mr. Gunter.
I support it.
Thank you for being
You characterized this race as being what, from what I understand, it's the plague that is driving a rift through the Republican Party right now, writ small. That it's the reasonable folks against the far right wing, and I'm just wondering where you are in that, and why you think that that resolution is, why resolving those differences a race at a time is important, and what your election would do to close that rift.
If I understand the question, Mr. Jackson, I'm not sure I would consider this race the far right against maybe the moderate right. If anything, I'm far from the far right. Even though I'm chairman of the Republican Party, most people find that unusual. What we have going on in Pasco County, Mr. Jackson, is influence peddling. People living off the public dole. Okay. Lobbyist money here is a very powerful place. I can go through the list for 5 hours where the money comes from, because I know. Okay? They don't want me, they being whoever they are, and I can give you the list of names, but trust me, nobody in Tallahassee wants James Mathieu there. Not because I'm so conservative, no, the other way around. They don't want me bucking the system as Mr. Fasano has. They know I will, because they know I'll do what's right. Nonsense ethics laws they passed, CCEs they got rid of. My campaign against me is being done by a different type of PAC, which they refuse to get rid of. No, they don't want me because I'm going to fight with them. They want to put their person in. They control everyone that gets elected here, because getting elected without a substantial amount of money, and I'm being outspent 20-1, is near impossible in Pasco County. And that's what's happening here, and if I can do it one election at a time, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to tell the people in Western Pasco what's going on. My commercials reflect that. I can back up every word of it. James Mathieu, 2 minutes. I believe I have the experience, the knowledge, and the passion to represent the citizens of Western Pasco. I've never held elected office. Everybody always tells me, Jim, people making a living, they're professional politicians. We need someone that's not a politician. I'm not. This is what it looks like. This is what it sounds like. I've never held office. I think the public has a problem. We all have a problem, but we can fix this. Never confuse eloquence with substance. Never confuse character with personality. And above all, going right to the top, do not confuse salesmanship with leadership. You want to change this, ladies and gentlemen, you go talk to your neighbors, you do what you think is right. But if you want the same old, then just vote the same old way by the name you recognize. I'm James Mathieu, and I'm running for state. I know the prostitutes, the vagrants that walk by my door.
Work?